All right. Hello, everybody. We are here and we're going to be talking about iconic characters and when is the entertainment industry going to basically stop ruining them. I'm your host, Cash Money. With me today is Mike, aka Pacific 414, who also has a channel, and we also are some of the people who are on Tuesday Night Trek. How's it going, Mike?
It's going good, Cash. How's your day
Awesome.
going?
Pretty good. So I guess we will start with Tila, right? And well, Tila, if you watch any of the new reboot of He-Man, you will be probably confused if you ever watched the old He-Man because, well, Tila whines a lot, and I'm not personally a big fan of her build. And in chat, by the way, hello, Phil McCracken. Um, so yeah, what do you think of Tila, Mike? Did you watch any of the new reboot He-Man series that
I only
Kevin Smith
watched part
made?
one.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you watched the 5 parts, yeah. And so, what did
yeah.
you think?
I wasn't too crazy about it. As a matter of fact, in my own review for it, I said I don't think I'm gonna watch part two, and I have no interest or inclination to watch part two after what I
Mm-hmm.
saw in part one.
Right.
Tila came off as selfish, me,
Yes,
why?
I agree. Definitely. I just that's not her character. She was always in the 2002 reboot of He-Man. She was always strong. Yeah, she was always teasing Adam before he became He-Man, and they had good banter. Um, and you see a little of that in the first episode of He-Man, but she's always whining. The
Mm-hmm.
topic is iconic characters and why is Hollywood ruining them, Leah? Leia. It's funny I said Leah. Leia. Yes, that is the topic we are talking about today. When is basically Hollywood going to stop ruining iconic characters? And so we're talking about examples, and the reason that I wanted to do this stream especially is after watching Book of Boba, I it irritated me. So Tila is just she's always been strong. They just decided to change her. Yeah, she has got a girlfriend. She's got no, Phil, I don't agree with that. Yeah, it's all about money. I agree. I agree. But she she's just always been a strong character and she never whined like she's just complaining all the time in this show. Why didn't they tell me about He-Man? What do you mean Adam is He-Man? Blah blah blah. I didn't really understand any of that. Like that's never been Tila's character. And if you know anything about her character from the '80s series, the 2002, watch any of that. Just it's just embarrassing, and I it's even more embarrassing to me that Sarah Michelle Gellar voices this character, not because the way she voices it really, but just that this character is always complaining all the time, and it's bad. So um, and people can disagree in the chat about what Mike and I are saying. We just I just don't really understand it. Why we have to put up with this nonsense of these characters? These don't have to change. Tila's always been a strong female warrior, always. Um, what do you think, Mike? You think what would you have done if you were working on this He-Man production? What would you have done if
I would have
Tila's
made it
become a
more.
Karen? Mm-hmm.
I would have made it more true to the source material.
Yeah.
Because even in the original Filmation cartoon, Keen
Mm-hmm.
Randor actually appreciated Adam and encouraged
Yes.
Adam. In this new
Agreed.
series, he puts Adam down like
Yeah.
you're not a hero. You can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
he just didn't feel like Keen Randor. And
Nope.
there's one scene in particular in the Kevin Smith version of Masters of the Universe
Mm-hmm.
where Keen Randor and Queen Marlena are grieving because Adam, He Man, is dead, and she makes
Hmm.
it all about her.
Yep, she does. And so they feel these studios, and they have all this money, and they feel they have to do this for whatever reason, and it doesn't make any sense because I I just don't really I don't know what to say. It baffles me. It really does. It's these female characters, male characters. You don't have to tear them down. The reason people have loved them for so many years, and so many of them, many people, is because these were just great characters. People could relate to them, and always people want to talk about, oh, I want to relate to this character. Well, you can relate to Tila. She's strong, and especially females can relate to her. It's just they want to change this. Like there's something wrong with how the character is. There was nothing wrong with how Tila was. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, and look at the original design, especially for the animated counterparts done by the
Hmm.
Filmation series, where they use animatics and they use actual actors to, refer where the muscles should be and everything
Hmm.
else.
Yep.
The actress that was playing Tila, she's absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
And they translated that onto the animated cells.
Yes. They did. And it's older artwork, but it still looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, He-Man, the original show was cheesy and stuff, but still, it was a it's still a fun show. This one, I like the animation, I do, but they've also changed some stuff, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like I should love this character like I do in the 2002, and I think the 2002 version is probably like the best version I've ever seen of the animated He-Man.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I like
I
it even
really
better than the original,
I
personally.
really enjoyed that series, and I really wish they had been able to go into the third season, especially dealing more with the Snake Man.
Hmm.
Apparently, if there had been a third season, we would have had She-Ra show up, since we already had flashbacks to the Horde and
Yep.
all that, and Hordock, and
Yep. Definitely. So, is there anything else? Yep. Tila character is remodeled to follow today's society and change the next generation. Yeah, I agree, Leia. I do.
Mhm.
I definitely agree with that. So, anything more you want to say about Tila, or should we move on to another character?
I think we've said all that we can say about Tila.
Have we beaten this character to death yet? Okay, well then let's move on to Snake Eyes. Um, this is here's Snake Eyes. This is the Snake Eyes that I remember from the comics, from the show. And
Same here.
when we go to the Snake Eyes movie, we got go with this. He that's his, of course, Storm Shadow. Yeah, that was a different Snake Eyes. This show right here is yeah. Hey, Solonic, what's up, man? Welcome. Um, this show right here, this movie is just bad. Like I know somebody who likes this show, but this character has always been he got injured. He has a scar on his face. That's why he wears the mask. In this
Hmm.
film, it's amazing to me because he doesn't put his mask on until literally the end of the film. I know, spoiler alert, but he doesn't put it on until the end of the film. It's crazy. And so I don't really understand why that had to happen. He should have had the scar and put on the helmet, and then he's Snake Eyes throughout the film. Storm
Yeah.
Shadow has his helmet off a lot too, but it's crazy to me why we have to do that. Um, it's
Eh,
it's it's disrespectful to the character.
Well,
Yep.
not only that, you
That's
look
right,
at
Sandman.
Hasbro.
Welcome. Yep.
Hasbro was the one that said, "Yeah, you can go through with this."
Mm-hmm.
Well, you look at the origin of Snake Eyes, as you've already talked about through the comics and through the animated TV series.
Yep.
Snake Eyes was
Even the other
popular
two
because,
movies. Yeah.
yeah. Let's not forget Ray Park in the two movies.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best part of those two movies, hands down.
Yes, I agree. Definitely.
And one of the things about Snake Eyes is, yeah, he may be mute, but his body language spoke
Yes,
volumes.
it did. It definitely did. Um, it's amazing to me that they just thought this was a good direction, and it's disrespectful to the character. And people are just like, oh, well, and this movie bombed. And I know there were people, I'm sure, who wanted a sequel to this if they liked this film, but this movie overall was just awful. I know we're focusing on characters, but it just this was not Snake Eyes. This is disrespectful to Snake Eyes. And having
Mhm.
his helmet on and having him talk so much, that's what they love now too. These characters, like just like with Boba Fett. Boba Fett was talking too much in the Book of Boba, and we'll get to that. But I don't understand it. It's really weird to me why we keep having this happen, and it seems like it's always a war with these characters. It
Mhm.
was Snake Eye. That's right. It was Snake Eye. Exactly. Not Snake Eyes. I agree, Solonic. Um, it's amazing to me that this just keeps happening. It's just a vicious circle. So it's always some kind of war, and it shouldn't be. These characters are great for what they were and what they can still be. Yeah,
And
why are we talking?
when it
Oh,
comes to Snake Eyes, his
yeah,
mystery doesn't always need to be unsolved. You
no,
need to keep some things under wraps, some things
yes,
up to the fans' imagination.
yes, yes, I agree. Um, just that Solonic, they disrespected Snake Eyes from what this character was. So he was put on the list. But we can move on. I guess we will probably keep beating this character to death. So do you want to pick one now, Mike? You have
Yeah,
on your list?
let's get the Solo.
All right, let's get to Solo then. I didn't hate the Solo film. Let's see if I type Solo. It should be good. There we go. All right.
Okay.
There. Yep.
What
Solo.
bugged me about the movie was
Yeah.
that we didn't need to find out about Han Solo's origin. Again,
Yeah.
that's something that you can leave to a mystery. But how he got his name,
Mm-hmm.
because he's by himself, and
Right.
the Imperial agent goes, "All right, Han Solo." Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? That's how he gets his last name? Because some Imperial agent comes up with the last name? No. I know the EU did it better, and that's the source material they should have drawn from.
I agree. And they keep missing opportunities
Mhm.
with the source material, and it's really disappointing. Yeah, Han Solo before he got surgery.
Yeah.
This wasn't a bad Han Solo, and I know he was picked by Harrison Ford. So that's always a plus. But the funny thing is, there was a guy on YouTube who sounded so much like Han Solo, and it's like, why was this guy never picked? Made no
Yeah.
sense. Yep. He had the
And,
brow and everything, the expressions. Yeah.
that's the thing. Nothing against the actor. The actor
Right.
did great with what he was given. I
Right.
don't think we need to see the story on the big screen.
Hmm. Interesting.
That's just
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. It's just
It's already in the EU. We don't need it on the big screen. They should have kept the EU as official canon.
interesting. Yeah. 90% of this movie Solo was reshot. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Mhm.
This film had a lot of problems. So
Yeah.
yep. I yeah. Yeah, you feel a lot stronger about this than I do. I thought this movie was pretty good overall, but it could have been better. It felt a bit rushed in certain places. Um, I I did like young Lando. I thought they did young Lando justice. So I was happy
Yeah,
about that.
he was good, but as far as the droid and Lando, no, we didn't need that.
Hmm. That was weird.
Yeah.
Um, so you think the only thing was that was disrespectful about Solo is what they said about his name, or is there other stuff you didn't like?
I just felt that it was a story that if they really wanted to tell, they could
Mhm.
go to the source material that they have plenty of in the EU and draw from that and not give us this story where, you know, Han Solo is pretty much a fool.
Mhm.
You don't see him as a fool when we meet him in the original Star Wars movie. No, he's confident. Yes, he is cocky,
Mhm.
but he's got a reason for being cocky. He's used to being able to
Yes.
wiggle his way into certain situations and wiggle his way out of those situations.
Right. And you didn't feel there was enough of that in the movie?
No, no, there wasn't. Not in
Yeah.
my opinion. Someone else might feel differently, and that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. I would personally rather watch Solo again than probably the other 7, 8, and 9. Well, especially 8 and 9, but Solo was all right. I don't think I've watched the whole movie except through once. Phil McCracken's got some comments. Oh, reshoots and 15-20% after it eats profits. Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's yeah, Solo was pretty good. So let's see. We want to, if we have anything else to say about Solo, then we can say it. If not, we'll just move on to another character.
No, I don't have anything else to say on Solo.
All right. Should we move on to Doctor Who?
Let's do it.
All right. All right. Let's see if we can find the. There we go. Best Doctor ever. Not really.
That's up
I
for
don't.
debate. And I'm
Yeah.
serious about that. That seriously
Hey,
is up
average.
for
What's up?
debate.
Welcome. Yeah. This is yes, a wild average has appeared. He's like a Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, the thing about Doctor Who that I've already always known is you have the character was always wacky, quirky, but he always made the final decision. And if you're pushing so much to have a woman be the doctor, then she has to be the same. She can't be different. So, and I've gotten in some arguments online with some people, Mike, about this, that she was decisive, she was this, she was that. I'm like, no. So why are we making excuses for her? It's not all her fault, but this show, the reason a lot of the hardcore fans turned away from Doctor Who is because if you watch any of the episodes, she's indecisive. Oh, can you guys please make the decisions for me? And really, as Leia Rose just said, would it be so bad that this is a role for a man and doesn't have to be a woman? Is that terrible to say?
No, it's not because you had the character Missy as the antagonist to the Doctor, and
Mm-hmm.
she was very good. Whether she was
Yes.
going off against Matt Smith's Doctor, or
Yep.
going off against Peter Capaldi's Doctor.
I like Capaldi's Doctor, and I know a lot of people had feelings about him because of how sarcastic he was or whatever. But I actually liked him. It's just blew my mind watching these episodes, and then on top of it, you didn't just have the character; you had some kind of agenda that didn't need to
Mm-hmm.
be there. And it's like, why is this here? Because the writers feel it has to be this way. This is never what Doctor Who was. Never.
No, no. I
It
mean,
just blows my mind. I don't hate
the
Jodie. I just don't understand why the character couldn't be the same.
I was going to say the
Yeah.
main problem with
Sure he was,
This version
Solana.
of Doctor Who is the writing.
Yes.
The writing's the biggest issue.
Yes, the writing is just it makes no sense. I don't understand why they have to put up. Yeah, Dr. Karen Who, I like that. And it's not that they can just do better. The thing that I'll never understand is that you have these characters for so many years. Doctor Who's been around for what, since 1980 something, and so
Oh, longer than
every
that. It's been
character
around
we
since 1963.
is it been longer than that? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Um,
next year will be its 60th anniversary.
wow, that's amazing. And so how do you bring these fans back to these properties that people have loved for so many years, especially hardcore fans? Yeah, Doctor Who was weird, and it's probably felt like the writers had done drugs and stuff in some of the episodes, but the Doctor was still the Doctor. He made the final decision. He got advice from people that he was working with, especially his assistant. Don't you love woke Doctor Who? Oh, it's the best. It's the best, Crit. And welcome to the chat, buddy. I just I don't understand why we had to this had to go on. It just it doesn't make any sense. These doctors were interesting always, but when they're in when the doctor's indecisive like this, it's just crazy. I don't understand why this had to go on and why just all these why questions.
And here's the thing when it comes to Doctor Who and the companions or any other character in any other series we might bring up tonight. You used to care about these characters. You used to have
Yes.
reasons to care about these characters.
Yes.
And now you're watching these stories and
Mhm.
these individual episodes, and you're going, why am I still caring about this character, this
Mhm.
IP? Why?
Yep. Yep. It just that's what I asked the question, and so then the fans get attacked, and it's just it's ridiculous. And yet things like anime and other stuff, they're still giving the hardcore fans, the fans that have stuck with this, the same type of characters. Yeah, they can be weird. Anime can be weird, but with Doctor Who, and we've seen already many channels talk about this show, and especially with the recent Doctor Who and just ripping on it and making fun of it because it could be better.
Mhm.
It just the Doctor doesn't have to be an indecisive at all. She needs to be clear and make the final decision. What is wrong with that? Like, so you're telling me you guys want uh, people want these strong characters, but they don't want to expand them and show them how strong they can be like they have been in the past. And there's still strong female characters. There's strong female characters in shows like Better Call Saul.
Yeah. The,
It's just yeah.
the thing I'm noticing in a lot of movies and TVs is they want to keep these characters in a box.
Mhm. Yeah, they do.
They don't
It
want to let them grow outside of that box.
no.
They want to, check something off saying, okay, this is the bestest character in this field of work. And if anyone else speaks against this character, well, that other character is wrong. That
Yep,
viewer is wrong. We're
yep,
not wrong. We're fans. We're, customers.
yep.
We have our opinions. If the product isn't any good, then we're not going to buy
Yeah.
it.
No, we're not. We're the customers, so they should do that correctly. Um, that's David Tennant is the best Doctor Who. Yes, he was really good. I like David Tennant. I like Capaldi. I like different ones. And so, um,
I
is there
like
anything
David
else?
Tennant,
Hmm.
but it was Matt Smith who was the doctor when I became a fan of Doctor Who.
Right,
So he'll always be my doctor. Although I
right.
do like Eccleston, I wish we got more of Eccleston than that one season.
Hmm. Yeah, that would have been nice. But yeah, so I think we can now move on to Faye Valentine. Did you ever watch Cowboy Bebop, the animated
I
show,
I
Mike?
have watched the anime and I
Good.
actually got it for Christmas and I've been watching it. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. So we move on to Faye Valentine, and if you watch any of these episodes, now I have a friend who loves this show. Um, I just saw Death on the Nile. Like Kenneth Branagh didn't make his Hercule Poirot. Oh, Hercule Poirot woke. Nice. That's always a good thing. I'm glad to hear that, Crit. Uh, the what's amazing to me is Faye Valentine is quirky. She complains about stuff here and there. Um, she's also strong. She knows how to use a gun. Um, and yeah, the character in the live action one, she knows how to use a gun, but she's in the wrong place. She's
Hmm.
attacking the wrong mark for one. That is disrespectful in itself. She's cursing all the time, which makes no sense because Faye Valentine in the animated show did not curse like that. And
Mm-mm.
if she did curse, she may have said one or two things, but not the F word every few minutes.
Well,
It's
that's the
just
thing.
amazing.
In the anime, they didn't throw around the curse words left and right. They only threw them in there when there was meaning to it.
Yes, Solonic. Yeah, exactly. There were meaning to it. It just makes no sense. I just and the sad reality is that what if we other iconic from video games and from I was talking I think to Paul about this a few weeks ago about what if Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell becomes Samantha Fisher, and it sounds like a
Hmm.
joke, but what if that happens? Like it's stupid. I think it's dumb because I could see them changing the character, yelling at the men, telling the men that they can't do this anymore. It's weird.
Well, what
Um,
about what they're doing with Gadriel for the Lord of the Rings series on Amazon?
I haven't looked into it enough, man. So
All I'm going to say
yes,
is stunning and brave.
stunning and brave, huh? I mean, it's not just the thing is like the race swapping of characters that can be annoying, but it's just the way that they change the character. That they start being a victim or they start being this. I don't know. It's just weird. But Faye
Well, what about
Valentine,
when they're
uh,
changing
yeah,
characters that are redheads to non-redheads?
hmm
Don't go against redheads, man. Redheads rock.
no, yeah, yeah. They're always these big studios like Disney. They're getting rid of redheads. Like something's wrong with redheads. I don't get that either. But yeah, Faye Valentine, she's not this character.
No.
And this one is just like over the top. It's really odd. Because as far as I know, Faye Valentine is still an iconic character to a lot of people.
Yep, she is. And what really hurt this series was Daniel Pineda.
Hmm. Yeah,
That
she
video
did.
that she made, that hurt it.
It's like, did you watch the anime? Do you care? Because a lot of people care who have invested time and effort into these shows. And especially people who worked on even Japan's like, I don't want anything to do with this. It's so weird. Uh, Crit had a comment for you, Pacific.
I understand where you're coming from, Crit, but we've seen what Hollywood has done before, so that's why I'm a little, iffy about it because I don't trust them.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to trust them for sure. Um. Yeah. I just don't understand why. Like it just it makes no sense. And even the actress herself said that Faye Valentine is a feminist, and I think she's definitely a true feminist. The voice actor who played her, I was watching a video a while back and saw that. I said that's really interesting. Maybe a few months ago. It's just these female characters can be strong. It doesn't matter what their race is. It just you take the characters even from Black Panther. They were strong. I didn't feel they were quirky. They were smart. Um, it's just, but with Faye Valentine, like, why did they change her? Now, some people say, "Oh, it doesn't matter," but it matters to me. I've watched the anime. I know
Mm-hmm.
what Faye Valentine is. That's not Faye Valentine in the live action version of the show. It's disgusting to me. It's disrespectful to her. And really, why wasn't she wearing more yellow? She's got this like Han Solo outfit kind of thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's weird. I don't really understand it, man.
Well, it's
But
like, the J.J. Abrams movies, the way Kirk was portrayed. It's like, this isn't Kirk.
yeah, yeah. And Phil McCracken makes a good point. J.R.R. Tolkien and Christopher Tilkin didn't never oh yeah didn't write the series of books about any other race but people of British Isle period. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hmm. Yes, like Sherman, right? Um, it's weird that we have to keep going in this direction with these characters because they can just always do better. So if look, if you didn't like the outfit, the actress didn't or actor didn't like the outfit, you know, but get it close to what the anime was. Put more
Mm-hmm.
yellow on it. It's just disrespectful to see she's like a Han Solo type person.
Well, it's like the live action Transformers movie. The only one that even came close to making the characters look like their G1 counterparts was the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah. Mhm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and with the Bumblebee movie, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good movie. It was a fun movie. It had a point to it. Um, but yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm never gonna understand if people like this Faye Valentine. More power to them, but to me, it's always going to be disrespectful to the actual character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we uh, we can move on now to another one. Um, let's see. What did you want to talk about Luke? I guess, right?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about Luke. We all know how Luke was in the original trilogy and what he ended up being in
Right.
Disney's trilogy.
Hmm.
It's not the same character.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting about Luke because to me this movie, uh, it's the sequels, especially the Last Jedi. It was just like, well, there's I don't know if I paid much attention to Luke and stuff, but it was just crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Right, exactly, Solonic.
what we see
Yeah.
of Luke by the end of Return of the Jedi and what we're introduced to in The Last Jedi, it's like,
Hmm.
okay, you really
Yeah.
are a different character. Even Mark Hamill protested and said to Ryan Johnson, this isn't how Luke would act. But Ryan
Right.
Johnson didn't care. He
Yeah.
ignored him.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Christopher Tolkien, right, or Tolkien. I've heard Tolkien and Tolkien. I was just going back to Phil McCracken's comments. So, because Christopher was the son, because I know he passed
Yeah.
away a few years ago. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And when he passed away, Amazon's pretty much saying, okay, we can do whatever we want.
Hmm.
That's the way I'm interpreting it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Luke Skywalker can be a cranky man just like Mark Hamill. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I understand Solodic. Yeah, I can understand why a lot of people felt like Luke was disrespected. That's why a lot of people cried after the season finale of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't, but I understand why a lot of people do. Oh, here's the Luke that we want to see, but it all leads back to the sequel trilogy. But Luke was added in here because, well, he's a. I would say he probably has been disrespected.
And even I know we already talked about the Solo movie, but
Hmm.
Han Solo in The Force
Hmm.
Awakens,
Yeah.
how does he go from rebellion hero back to smuggling.
Right.
He basically regressed instead of progressing even further.
Interesting point. Yeah. Well, let's see. Do we have anything else to say about Luke, or do we want to continue on?
Blue milk,
Blue
green
milk,
milk.
green milk.
Nah, I've got nothing else to say. Otherwise, if I do say it, your channel would probably get a strike,
Well, that would
and
not be
I don't want that to happen to you.
Yes. No, we don't want that. But is okay, what did you say? I hope the Batman isn't woke. I don't mind Catwoman being black cuz Earth right, Earth Kit played a black Catwoman in the 60s, right?
Yes, she did.
Eartha Kitt, yeah. That's true she did.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Batman
No.
isn't woke either, but I don't really have a lot of high expectations for it either. Of course, I keep referring to it as Bat Sparkles.
I'm just trying to also figure out, like in the Batgirl movie, you know, Barbara Gordon, I guess, in the comics has a transgender friend. I mean, go nuts, I guess. But I don't know how that, just kind of weird. I don't know. Just find it weird.
That is
I
weird,
don't
but
know how
you
that's
know, I
going to fit
haven't.
in, but yeah. But I haven't read the
I'm not.
comics of that, so. Mhm.
I'm not sure either. And the last time I read a Batman comic, well, that was about 6 years ago.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I found some old comics to read.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
and
only talk about Reeves Batman. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. We'll just see how it goes. I'm gonna give that Batman movie a chance and see what we do with it, what they do with it, and how the fans react to it. And it might make a lot of money. I don't know. Um, it's weird. Like you had told me also recently, Pattison was just he was like, "Oh, I didn't really know that about Batman, and he was the greatest detective in the world." And you're
yeah,
like, "What?"
he never heard that Batman's been referred to as the world's greatest detective.
Right.
Yeah, anybody who's read the comics prior to current year knows that
Yeah.
one of Batman's great skills is being a detective,
Mhm.
solving the mystery.
Yep. So now I guess we can. Yes. Right. I agree, Edward. Yeah. The real Flashpoint. Right. Yeah, and I think this whole thing now, Hollywood's like, you can't criticize us. How dare you? If you do, we're going to attack you all the time. I mean, fans can be unreasonable at times, but wow, it's just I I'm just blown away by what keeps happening to these characters. And you
Hmm.
see Luke with his green milk; it looks ridiculous. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's something weird about these characters, and so freaking crit. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, but if there's a different Earth, it's probably okay for these characters to be different races and stuff. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see what happens. These companies are very crazy about how these have to be different races to represent this and that. I mean, just I don't get it personally. Just like I would never take Blade and change him white. That'd be weird.
Mm-mm.
Wouldn't make sense.
Well, that's another thing. When Black Panther came out, they were saying, "Oh, this is the first real black superhero." I'm thinking, are you guys forgetting about Wesley Snipes as Blade?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the first Blade movie. I don't know about the second one, but I like the first one, yeah. It was a good film. I haven't seen it in a while. I probably need to watch it again.
I definitely need to watch it again. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
But yeah, Blade was pretty cool. I agree, Solonic. So, justice for the Orca mug. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I just. I don't know. We've had what, like 9 characters that they've basically taken a battle axe to and change. I didn't even
Mhm.
know that Captain Marvel was a guy until I found that out and did some research. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
weird. And then he turned into a woman in the comics, and then we got live action Brie Larson. But um,
It should have been Monica Rambeau.
hmm,
I'm just saying.
I'll have to look up Monica Rambeau. I don't know who that is, dude.
She was actually the first Captain Marvel when
Oh, okay.
Marvel actually took it into the direction they wanted to take it into in the 70s, I believe.
Yeah, I can't speak for. I mean, there's Marvel characters. I guess we could talk about Taskmaster because I would say he got disrespected. I don't know. Would he be considered an iconic character though? I'm not sure about that.
I think among some circles of the comic fandom, he would be. I mean, seeing the
Okay.
character in Black Widow, I'm going, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it
Yeah.
all wrong. I mean,
Yeah, and
that movie itself is a joke.
it's got problems definitely, and it's too bad that it has problems. It's got some good stuff to it, but it gets boring. And when you figure out who Taskmaster is, after like about 10 minutes, 20 minutes into the film, you're like, no, really? Okay.
Hmm. I could think of another character that we can talk about. I mean, Crit, myself, you, we're
Mm-hmm.
all on Tuesday Night Trek. And all this character does in his current iteration is apologize for
Oh,
something he
gosh,
never did.
that's the worst, man. Just that's the worst. So let's see. Let's find Picard. There we go. That says it all right there.
Hmm.
So we're moving to Picard now. I have watched some clips of this show, and I said to myself, why is he in a dusty library all the time, feeling sorry for himself? Now, I haven't actually watched the a full episode, but I there is Picard, and so this is another character, and we're talking about an iconic Star Trek character.
Yep.
Um, I I don't know why he needs to be disrespected like this, yelled at by people. This is Jean-Luc Picard. He's a
Hmm.
badass.
Yep. He's one of Starfleet's most reliable officers, especially when it comes to diplomacy. Who do they
Hmm.
count on to negotiate a peace treaty between two warring factions? Picard.
Hmm. Yeah.
And instead, in Star Trek Picard, he's going around apologizing for things that he doesn't need to apologize for.
It's horrible.
And he becomes a background character in his own show.
Yep.
That's
That's
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. How much are they
And
paying him?
since we're on Picard, we might as well mention Seven of Nine.
Yeah.
Seven of Nine isn't even the same character that we knew from Voyager.
Oh, really? I don't know. So you would have to.
Yeah.
Is
After
uh
there's
huh.
an episode where near the end, Picard tells her that vengeance isn't the key to life, and he gives her this advice. She
Hmm.
beams back down to this planet where this mercenary is, and she kills this mercenary after getting the Picard speech.
Right.
It's like, come on, Seven and Nine isn't a vengeful person. Seven and Nine was learning about herself in Voyager. I would have loved to have seen where that took her, whether it
Uh
was
huh.
a career with Starfleet, whether it was a career as a civilian. I would have loved to have seen where that would have properly taken her had the right hands been in charge, but the right
Right.
hands aren't in charge of, a lot of these current properties,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
No, I don't think they are. They just don't care. I think it's just do your research. Look at the source material and just build from there.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, when it comes to Picard, you have 7 seasons and 4 movies to refer to. When it comes to
Yeah.
7 and 9, you have, you know, 3 seasons to refer to.
Hmm.
Hmm. Crit's right. He's absolutely right. I mean, I would hate to see what they would do to Captain Kirk.
Yes.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, it'd be terrible. Yep.
And,
Don't make her remastered. I agree. Just stop. And if you're not going the right direction, you don't feel it can ever go in the right direction. Just don't do it.
hmm.
So I don't know how long this is going to keep happening with all these characters that we've grown up with that we like. I mean, I still don't even know how I feel about that the turtles look like they're on steroids now, or that it just changed their. I don't know if that's really disrespectful to them, but I don't think it's
I
necessary.
I'm gonna say it, but I don't have any confidence in the person who's going to be in charge of giving us this new version of the Turtles, and that's Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see if we
And,
can find that. I guess. Did you want to say anything else about Picard?
no,
So
no,
Picard's sitting there, dusty library, waiting for a woman or somebody else to yell at him, and he goes, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Is that?
I'm sorry. I didn't spend all those years in Starfleet moving up the ranks and to allow myself to wither away and get yelled at the rest of my life. And then
Ma-
they make him an android. Come
Imagine if
on.
they had like characters from the X-Men now yelling at him and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." This is, I told you not to find those people. We're talking about
Come on,
Professor
Xavier.
Xavier. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Stop using your powers to hear other people's thoughts, Xavier. Charles,
So bad.
what are you
Yeah.
doing? I'm hearing someone else's thoughts.
It's
Uh,
just uh, and if these companies are all always supposed to be about making a lot of money, they're certainly going in a lot of bad directions with this stuff. I mean, I don't even understand. Like I stuck with Supergirl on the CW. I've been watching it since season one with my brother. And this last season, my gosh, all these characters, all they do for the most of the episodes is whine about this and that. These female characters, I'm like, this is not how these characters were before.
mm-mm.
I'm not, and Supergirl, she's whining too. Well, I would say Supergirl is probably considered an iconic DC character. She's been around for
Yep.
years. Yeah.
And you didn't get that from the 1970s Wonder Woman with Linda Carter. She wasn't
No,
whining.
no, definitely not. And that show could be goofy, but it was fun and it was entertaining.
Hmm.
Yes. It's just bizarre. Yeah, and I don't feel, and I will say this about people like Patty Jenkins. She has not really disrespected Wonder Woman, but um she that she's disrespected other characters. I mean, is Cheetah, would Cheetah be considered an iconic character? I don't know.
I,
Maybe. I'm not sure about that.
I'm not really sure. I'm not
It's
gonna
hard to
say
say.
yes. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say no. I
Hmm.
just don't really know.
Yep. I'm not sure. But when we talk about like Wonder Woman 1984, ugh, which I always get into arguments with people about. It just Max Lord, though, I guess he's not really an iconic character either. So, though I don't like what they did to him in the movie after reading the comic, but
I didn't care for Wonder Woman 84.
no, I had a lot of issues with it.
I really enjoyed the first Wonder Woman movie, but
You know.
84, it still needed to be worked on, in
Yep.
my opinion.
Iconic villain Cheetah. Okay, Phil. Yeah, I just and going back to the CW shows, um, like Supergirl on CW. This show, one of the biggest problems with Supergirl that I had found is they can't get certain things right. Um, that's right. This band of bozos. What's up, Whoopa? Welcome, man. Um, it's just the Supergirl. They had potential for this show, and but in season 6, which is the final season of the show, I haven't quite finished it with my brother yet. She's whining a lot in this season. It's like, why is Supergirl whining so much? Why did the writers think this is a good idea? Give her something to complain about, fine, but why is she always whining? It's so weird.
Oh, it goes back to Tila. Tila didn't need to be whining either, but that's what they did because
Hmm.
that's their current track record as far as these characters are concerned.
Yeah.
We're not going to make them, characters that you can look up to. We're going to make them characters that you will step back. Maybe not everybody, but you'll step back and go, "What happened to this character? This is not the
Hmm.
same character." And
Yep.
Kara Zor-El, she never struck me as the kind of character that would start whining and complaining about stuff.
No. It's just weird, man. And like I know they changed her outfit, but like if the costume looks nice, I don't care. I think this is a nice costume for Supergirl personally.
Hmm.
I don't like that they she's whining and stuff, and these shows, even on the CW, they can have potential. They've done some good work with Arrow, with Flash before, but then they start adding in the agenda, and then things start going downhill.
Well, that's what makes me stay away
I'm
from the
sure.
CW shows, even when people tell me,
Hmm.
"Oh, Mike, you've got to watch this. You've got to watch Superman and Lois." And I think to myself, I don't want to start getting invested in this
Yep.
show, and then it starts going
Hmm.
down the same road as every other CW DC show.
Yeah, it's just, and you know what? Give this. I wish we could actually buy into this property and actually do some of these properties because I would do them justice. You make these characters strong. If I'm lost somewhere, I'd go back to the source material. I'd find out, and I don't care about all this nonsense that is going on with Twitter. I would make these characters the way they're supposed to be made.
Hmm.
Strong, they have feelings, choices that they do matter. The people around them always matter. And not just they can do all this stuff all they want, but it's just never going to make the best character. So, but Netflix, um, Disney, and all these other they just keep changing this stuff, and it doesn't make any sense if it's weird or it's just not the right thing with it. And yes, yes, and then you have these kind of situations where the WB fires Johnny Depp. Yet Ezra
Hmm.
Miller does a super Ike Turner on a woman and he wasn't fired. That's interesting. Yes.
Double standards.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah, I agree, Whoopa. They never do their research. I don't really understand it. All this stuff, it doesn't matter what the property is. It could be Pokemon, it could be this. That's why people were insulted by The Last Airbender, a lot of the hardcore fans, the Dragon Ball. It's like
Hmm.
they can do this stuff. We've seen it with Mortal Kombat. So, and this all adds into these iconic characters. So you put them on the screen, and people will tell you, "Oh, it's great," but is it? I watched Crit and I watched Batman versus Superman, and there were some things I liked about it, but I found the first hour boring, and it was the extended cut. I just don't understand. I want to be excited about DC again. Um, but we're taking wrecking ball to these characters. We're making men weak. we're making these women whine that are considered strong, like they're whining all the time about this stuff. It's just
Mhm.
weird. So I don't know when it's going to stop.
And the thing I really liked about Star Trek, especially when it came to the spin-offs with Next Generation,
Hmm.
DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise, is that it wasn't solely about the captain and the captain's
No,
decision. It was the ensemble cast. Every character had an episode or two or three during the season where they got to
no,
shine.
right.
And that's what I really enjoyed about it. It
Hmm.
wasn't left up to someone like Michael Burnham to figure out everything, and everyone else just stood around and applauded her.
Yep. Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird. Like Supergirl, I don't know if it's disrespectful or not, but it's bizarre that all the characters have to be superheroes. It's so weird. Like they don't. They can be sidekicks, they can be support systems, whatever. They don't all
Mhm.
have to be superheroes.
Well, even when Barbara Gordon becomes Oracle, she still plays an integral part in Batman's, you know,
She
missions.
does. She's in a wheelchair, but she's always helping. Yes, and you even see that in the Dark Knight game,
Yeah.
Arkham Knight. Yeah, yeah. I don't understand these decisions and about us in this Phase 4, even of Marvel. Besides Spider-Man, and I give the studio, I give Sony and Marvel a lot of credit for doing Spider-Man justice. But yeah, I don't know. This is a very good question. Yep. It's just like, and I hope it needs to be a good role model. We got to push these people to watch, uh, to watch older shows and see older
Mhm.
comics and
Well, I mean,
yeah, all
let's face
caring.
it,
Yep.
for you and I, our icons were Superman, Batman, He-Man, Optimus
Yes.
Prime.
Yes. Yep.
And
Definitely.
Optimus Prime was like a father figure to a lot of kids, especially after he died.
Yep.
Hasbro had no idea, no clue as to how popular the character was. And when he died in the '86 movie, that broke a lot of kids, broke their
Yeah.
hearts because their hero was gone.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, Crit, I watched a whole season of Batwoman. Um, and it was bad. My brother and I tell people all the time, if you watch a whole season of Batwoman, you deserve a medal. It just, that character was, it's not because she had lesbian relationships, it's because she just, it's sad because I don't know, it's just a mess. The whole show's a mess. Her relationships and the support characters, some of them were way more interesting than the main characters. They should all be interesting.
Hmm. You
Just
should be invested in each and
bizarre.
every character that shows up on screen, whether they're the main character, supporting character, or,
No.
a guest star. You
Yes.
should be invested in those characters.
Yes. Yes. Crit, you do not want to watch more Cowboy Bebop live action. Come on.
Brett, come on, man. Think about it. You've put Cash through enough torture. Why are you going to continue to torture him like this?
Uh, yeah. Yeah, it's and the reason I also decided to do this stream is because after the Boba Fett, it really irritated me a lot and I'm like, when is this going to end? We've already dissected Boba Fett to death, but just he's another character just like Snake Eyes.
Hmm.
The helmet's off.
Well, even Tamara
Most of
Morrison
most
was saying
yes,
he's speaking too much.
talks too much. We'll put him on the screen since we're not talking about Supergirl right now. Boba Fett, like a bantha. But let's see.
Or when he goes, I am Boba Fett. And that's supposed to mean what now?
Oh, it's just it's so crazy. Um, yeah, why don't you like Snake Eyes? Why is this not all right?
Crit, crit, crit. You're asking for trouble.
Oh, okay. Is this gonna? Something is wrong with Bing. Am I still coming through? Okay. We have a white board right now. I'm gonna
Try
close this
refreshing it,
first thing.
brother.
Yep, I did.
All right.
Let's see. We're having some technical difficulties here. Um, because we just had seen. I guess because we showed the Supergirl, they got upset. No. Yeah. Why don't you like Kevin Smith's He-Man? All right. This is being stupid. Anyways. Um. Yeah. So all these characters. We've got He-Man.
Got He-Man, we've
I
got
used
Tila, we've got Picard, we have, Jodie Whittaker's version of the
mhm,
Doctor, and
no,
7 and 9, we've mentioned her. Supergirl, we've
mhm.
mentioned her.
I like the format though, Crit of Bing. So does Mike and so does Paul. But we'll see. Thing is definitely
Boomer.
wrong with.
Yeah, okay, well, I hate to break it to you guys. We're not boomers, we're Gen X.
It's true. Um, it's just yeah, it's weird for sure. I don't know when this is gonna stop, when this is gonna end. All right, something is definitely wrong with my Netflix. I don't know. Somebody might be on Zoom too. That might be a problem. I'm not sure. It was working just now.
I could try to bring it up.
All right, yeah,
You want me to bring up?
yeah, bring it up.
If you want me to bring up Bane again, and
Yeah, you can bring up thing.
okay, I'll just
Mm-hmm.
share it with you. And
Yep, I agree, Whoopa. He was. Yeah, this is yep, use the force. I agree. Yeah, you can bring it up.
yeah, I'm just trying to find a good image from the Book of Boba Fett. I know
Definitely
that's.
not Solonic. Oh, that's too funny.
Let's see.
Yep. These are not the searches you were looking for. Throw cash at the screen. That'll fix it.
All right, I've got an image here that I will
Yeah. Okay.
go ahead and share my screen.
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Oh
then
yeah.
there we go. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So funny.
I mean, why did we have to spend 3 episodes with Boba and the Tuscans?
I
Why?
don't know. I don't know. They should have been connected in just one episode with the flashbacks. But my biggest problem with Boba Fett, Snake Eyes, any character that has their helmet off too much or talks too much, it's just but it's girlfriend. It is just that's not the character, and it's just insulting to the character. It's just like with Faye, she's cursing all the time. Or He-Man being pushed aside for Tila. It's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't understand it.
I mean, with Boba Fett, the great mystery about him was because he was a man of few words.
Yes.
We only would hear about his reputation,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
they just ruined it.
Yeah, I don't.
I honestly feel, and this is just my opinion, folks. Go ahead and disagree if you want, but we didn't need the story.
Right.
If they had stuck to their original plan of making a Boba Fett movie, maybe it would have worked. Instead,
Mm-hmm.
we got the Mandalorian, and then because
Yeah.
of the popularity of Mando, they said, what else can we do? Well, let's make a
Right.
Boba Fett spinoff.
Yeah, and this could have been just like if they did the Snake Eyes movie properly. We would have had Snake Eyes. He would have had the scar on his face. He put the mask on. We have all so much more action. We'd have not less slow motion, but of course these studios are obsessed with that.
Mm-hmm.
And we would get the character that we were supposed to get, that we even saw in the GI Joe movies. And we could have gotten a really good GI Joe movie. Even Storm
Yeah.
Shadow could have had his mask on more, but no, we have to have the character talk and talk and talk and talk. Irritating.
Well, even in that one episode of the Book of Boba Fett where they're, having that low speed chase, because it wasn't a high speed chase, it was a low speed chase with that
Yeah.
land speeder and the
All
Voltron
right.
Force or the Power Ranger kids.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, this is supposed to be a land speeder. We've seen how fast they can go. In in the original Star Wars, we saw how fast a land speeder can go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Nightbot's being mean again. It's not good. Justice for Star Trek Five. Oh no.
Uh, yeah, I still have to watch that because I lost a
It's
bet that I made with Paul when it came to the Royal Rumble, and
yes, yes, I agree with Solonic. The Book of Boba should have been called Better Call Din. That's I like that.
yeah, because the episodes with just the Mandalorian, they were good episodes,
Yes.
but they should have been saved for season 3 of the Mandalorian. You shouldn't have another show during your current show that you're trying to push. Heck, I said this in my review.
Mm-hmm.
The Book of Boba Fett felt like 3 different series. You had
Mm-hmm.
Tuskens with Banthas,
Yep.
then you had Boba, and then you had the Mandalorian season 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just we got the Book of Boba show. We get that. I don't know if it's going to get a second season or not. We get that Snake Eyes movie where they literally disrespect Snake Eyes. You get this He-Man where you disrespect He-Man and Tila. I don't know if any other characters were disrespected. I didn't notice that. I'm sure Skeletor apologized to Evelyn at some point or whatever. I don't know. Just guessing.
From what I've heard
Um,
about part 2, it sounds like that's what he does. Oh, you're the best, Evelyn.
I don't understand where all this entertainment's going to go. Like all these characters, even when you had a female character and you go back and you have the male character flirting with the female and saying inappropriate things, she just tells him to shut up. And it's
Mm-hmm.
funny.
Yeah.
But for some reason, all that is wrong now, and the male has to have a chain on. And it's, yes, yes, I'm
It
sorry. I didn't mean to say this. Like, what?
used to be where people could joke with one another, laugh it off, and then the weekend comes and you're having a party with that same person. You're having a barbecue with that same person.
Yep. Yep. It's so weird.
Oh, look at the chat.
I
Phil
see it.
McCracken and Crit. A war of words. Uh
Yep. Yeah, I like this. My mind can think of thousands of better scenarios than what we got. Definitely. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff you can say that for, and so there, I only sometimes, Solonic, only sometimes. Um, I don't know anymore why we've got 9, 10 characters. What are they going to do next? If we have that Kenobi show and you've got Ewan he's apologizing as Kenobi a whole bunch of times, that's going to be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And after seeing the Book of Boba, we know that it's quite possible. I mean, yeah, Boba Fett didn't apologize much in this show, but he still apologized. Shouldn't apologize at all.
No, he was a bounty hunter. He had a job to fulfill.
Mm-hmm. And I have to say, he's probably the worst crime boss I've ever seen on a show.
Well, it's funny you say that because with the trailers, you really did think you were getting some sort of Godfather esque type of series.
Right.
My name's Boba Fett. This is not my territory. Capiche? You don't like it? Well, sucks to be
Yep.
you.
Yeah. I agree with Whoopa. When did Boba Fett ever feel bad?
He did it.
So ridiculous. Yep. It's so ridiculous. I don't know, man. I don't know, because this is gonna probably continue. Who knows? Are they gonna change Batgirl in the Batgirl movie? Are they going to beat up Batman now? Just, you don't know what's gonna happen with this stuff. It's crazy.
No, it's like, Michael
Yes.
Keaton coming back for the Flash movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, You know, as excited as I can be for the fact that Michael Keaton's coming back as Bruce Wayne Batman, I'm
Yep.
also nervous at the same time, thinking, what are they going to do to ruin this character, this particular incarnation of the character?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can't have bad guys anymore. It's bullshit. Make him a ruthless mother effer, right? That's why we like him. Yeah, that's definitely why we like him.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird to me why this has to keep happening. And it's always a war. And I feel we have to keep fighting. Because if we don't, then we give in, then it just gets even worse. Then we're just supposed to accept this stuff. It's crazy.
Well, it's like Disney making, Maleficent and then Cruella
Mm-hmm.
and basically describing these villains. And we've all known them as villains, even, in the original stories for Sleeping Beauty and 101 Dalmatian, they were villains that when these movies like Maleficent come out and Cruella come out, oh, they're just misunderstood. No, sometimes some people
Mm-hmm.
they're just jerks.
Yeah. I mean, is it disrespectful to take characters? I mean, well, Maleficent is just supposed to be evil. She was evil in the original Sleeping Beauty.
Hmm.
Um, and I just don't understand why in the movie Maleficent, which I know people did like, why she seemed to be somewhat of an anti villain, and she just wasn't just a villain anymore. It's weird. It's the same with Corella. It's
Hmm.
bizarre to me.
I mean, next we're gonna, and I'm saying this jokingly, folks, we're gonna get a Transformers
Yeah.
movie where
Hmm.
Megatron's the misunderstood leader of the Decepticons, or Cobra Commander's just completely misunderstood.
And it's funny, but it's sad at the same time.
Hmm.
And I just don't know. It's just I don't get it.
Well, it's like even Crit saying it in the chat. You just
Hmm.
don't understand.
Just don't understand.
Understand what? That this villain is just a complete, you know, biatch or complete asshole.
Yes. Yeah, they are. And that's like all that's pretty much their character. Or there's some
Mhm.
victim. Or they're yelling and screaming, or they're cursing, and that's all their character is. Like, it's weird. Yep, do your homework. I wish these studios would do their homework. They have all this money, and if they want to make more stuff, they're still going to make things. And I know people like Squid Game. I haven't watched Squid Game, but even that got criticized. They said, "Oh, the women weren't treated properly," in that. I'm like, it's so weird to me, all these things. But
Mhm.
when I see
Well,
stuff like the Cowboy Bebop live action, I just look at that and I like, man, that is disrespectful to the people who worked on that. Yep. Hey, what's up, Hawks? Welcome, man.
Hellhawks.
Yep. Um, and if anybody wants to come on and talk about all the characters that we talked about, or want to even bring up another iconic character, then let me know and I'll send you the link. And Solonic might be asleep, but I know it's not my fault. I'm sure of it.
It's not
He's
my
got a
fault. I'm not
baby and
taking the blame.
Yep. You know, I just there's so many, and then on top of it, we've got characters that just, well, you know, I don't know, man. It's a mess, and there's just keep taking a wrecking ball. These characters. What are they going to do in this turtle reboot? Are the turtles going to apologize? Did they make some cracks at April that she didn't like? I mean, who knows what's going to happen? And it's bad.
I'm
I don't know
gonna
what's
try to
gonna.
pull up an image of the new turtles, and I will give my critique. And
Sure.
this is just my opinion.
Yep.
You might disagree. The chat might disagree,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, go for
try
it,
to.
man.
Well, we could talk about a couple of versions of the turtles. Let's go ahead and talk about these guys. I'll go ahead and share my screen with you because it
Yeah.
it
Go
does
ahead.
go into what I want to talk
Mhm.
about with the newer version.
All right. Yes.
I mean, look at this version of the turtles.
They look like they're on steroids to me.
Yeah, yeah, they look like ogres to me
Yeah.
with shells on their
With their
back.
colors. Right? Oh man.
I mean,
It's a mess, dude.
and something that carries over to the new Seth Rogen series is the
Mm-hmm.
glasses. Yes, Donatello's the intelligent one, the smart one. But
Mm-hmm.
why does he have to wear glasses? He doesn't.
No.
That's the thing. He doesn't. Now let me
No. He doesn't.
find an image of the new turtles.
Turtle soup. If you were
Tonight I dine on turtle soup.
too funny.
Here, I'm just gonna go to Bounding in the Comics because that's where I first saw the image. Anyway, so,
Yeah, that's fine. But
give
yeah,
me a
if
second
anybody
to pull
wants
that up.
to disagree with us about our choices, or maybe even a character that you feel is iconic that's been disrespected, then let me know and I'll send you the link on Discord. I just it's just amazing to me. Oh, okay, Phil wants to come on. All right, let me throw him the link. Sure.
Yeah, I'm
Phil
still
will.
going. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. I got it now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we'll bring Phil on.
Go ahead and share my screen.
Oh, there you go, Phil. Too much positivity to me, right? All right. Phil, and then we got Phil. Hey, Phil. Welcome, man.
Hello, Phil.
Hey, Phil. Welcome, man. Oh, he's got an echo. Phil, you there? Phil, you there?
He just put in the private chat second.
Okay.
He just put in the private chat second.
Okay.
He's gonna retry.
Okay, cool.
But
no problem.
This is the image of the new turtles.
I don't like it. It's okay, but it's not. Do you feel the turtles have been disrespected? They are definitely iconic characters, but Have they been disrespected yet by Michael Bay? I don't know. Hard to say. The steroid turtles are just weird to me. I don't know if it's a disrespect. It's just a weird design.
Well, the thing is, you ask any longtime turtle fan who's been around for a while what their favorite movie is, and a lot of people will say the original.
Right.
Because it stuck to the source
Yes.
material. It stuck to the comics.
All right, Whoopa, let me send you the link. Yep. Why does God need a starship? Yes. It's funny.
Hashtag justice for Star Trek 5.
Yep. All right. Cool. All right. You got everything fixed, Phil? Okay.
Oh,
Is it fixed? All right. There's Whoopa. Oh, and we lost Phil again.
You brought me in right when Seth Rogen on the screen. That real.
Yeah, I've read some Abounding into Comics, right? Yeah, that's the site's name. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that look too much of the turtles. It's okay, but
Yeah,
my favorite is still the 80s, early into the early 90s.
I'm not.
Yeah, don't forget about Muscle Evil Lynn. I think that's disrespectful to Evil Lynn too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like the biggest TMNT fan, but I've certainly watched some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think this one's gonna be good. Like I remember watching that you're talking about the steroid turtles. Those are so. I remember when the advertisement came after that. I'm like, what the hell are
Yep.
these things?
I like to call them the steroid turtles.
No,
can you hear me, Cash?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hey. But
Welcome.
the thing about that
Thank you.
one, the thing about that one though was I don't think it was the best, but I wasn't super against it. I don't think I'd like choose to watch it again. But if you made me watch it again, I wouldn't be upset. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I think it was just a bad adaptation. I don't think it was. I don't think they were trying to be disrespectful. Like you see a lot of this stuff is now. It was just like, you know, they kind of missed the mark, but they tried. And some of the stuff now, it's like, no, they're trying to screw this up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that Chip and Dale's E! Hollywood True Story. Like, it's...
Yeah, I like I said before we went on live, I saw the trailer for that. I'm all, no, this isn't right.
Right.
But, you know, even in the Netflix War for Cybertron Transformers series, Optimus Prime wasn't the Optimus Prime that we're all familiar with, where he's this inspiring, heroic leader.
Mm-hmm.
The version of Optimus Prime that we got in that trilogy doubted himself and didn't have the confidence. He needed someone like Elita One to tell him, you're good enough.
I don't know what everybody's ages is here.
Yep.
But
hey, Pop Culture Mechanics here. Welcome, man.
This is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
After 1984,
mm-hmm.
when Little House on the Prairie ended, you have a gap where there is no male father figures in all TV.
Interesting.
Before that, you had plenty. After it, the only person was Bill Cosby, but that was a comedian role.
Mm-hmm.
Optimus Prime was the only thing after Little House on the Prairie where you had some form of a male figure father role.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I dare anybody now, till today, till then, mention anybody on TV that played a father figure that you can say, that guy played a good father figure. Not a Michael, like a Michael Landon, like the guy who played on Father Knows Best. We had the guy from Eight's Enough.
Yeah.
What's the one with the father that had a daughter, but he adopted two African Americans? I forget his name.
Well, what about?
Strokes?
Well,
Yeah,
doesn't Doesn't it also count? I mean, if we go lower to father figures, Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
That was the only one, but again, you have to remember Fresh Prince of Bel Air. He's playing still in a comedic role.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some seriousness into it, and you can say like Happy Days, the same thing with Mr. Cunningham.
Yes.
But the depth of the loss of the father figure from 1985 till now, it's amazing. It's amazing. You see plenty of mother figures. You see plenty of brother figures and sister and sister, but you don't see a father figure. You don't.
Well,
It's absent from almost all your TV shows and sadly say some movies. Something happened in Hollywood that did the change, and kind of like what we see now. I can go back to example. Let's see. Battlestar Galactica, the remake. I was against even though I like Mr. Hogan that played the new, what was it, Ty. I like the original actors, and if they were going to do a remake, they should have kept the original actors. There were plenty of diversified figures in the original Battlestar Galactica. It didn't need that type of remake and change. And the funny thing is, if you go on to YouTube, there's a show that the lady that played Caprica 6, she hears that they're going to make another Battlestar Galactica, and she says she feels like it's a punch in her gut. But it's okay for her and her cast to do a remake on the original Battlestar Galactica.
But they did even more because, of course, the original was, cheesy. They could do more with the facts.
Well, you have to remember that's for me growing up at that time, 1978. That was awesome TV. Even though it was only on TV for one season, that one season made that show and put it on the map. See, I hate to use different eras like generations. I'm older generation, you're younger generation, but there's the amount of change, and some good, some bad. I grew up when DC destroyed Marvel. Battlestar Galactica actually replaced a show that was for Captain America. The only thing Marvel had was The Incredible Hulk, which was a major hit with Bill Bixby. And what was the other one? There was a couple of TV movies for Spider-Man. Other than that, Marvel was second rate. It was DC who dominated. And you look at today, and you can see and feel the switch right after the Christian Bale movies. You can see the switch with Marvel. Like I said, I pick out a TV show, and I think where I start seeing it, I don't know, you want to call it woke? Let's call it woke. Was a Netflix movie that was called The Rise and Fall of a City, Troy. And I know many people, I'm of Italian descent. We were insulted because they race swapped Aeneas. I know people that are Greek. They were insulted. They race swap Achilles. There's actually Homer written about a black warrior that comes to fight at Troy. He's called Memnon. He's nowhere in the movie. It's not like he didn't have a black warrior there to come to fight. That movie, whoever produced it, for me it was an insult, not just basing on the books, but historical, because to us Italians and the Greeks, the Trojan War is just as much historical as the Battle of Gettysburg. So, and I don't like the race swapping. I don't see the point of it. I don't see, like in the new Batman, you have to race swap Jim Gordon.
I don't know. I think it's a different Earth, so I think that's why it might make sense.
But let me ask you this: can we have a
Mhm.
different Earth where Zulus are white? Can we have a
I don't
different
know.
Earth
It's a good
where?
question, dude.
Yeah, I know it's deep. It's deep.
Mhm.
I love. My favorite writings is the Chinese version of Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Hmm.
I would love to see a. I've seen both TV show series. I would love to see a movie, but I don't want to see any other actors playing that characters because they're historical if
Mhm.
they're not of Asian background.
Right.
Because seeing a British person at that time in China isn't going to, it's not historical. And there's nothing wrong. I like to
Right.
include people.
Mhm.
Inclusion is good, but it's also good to have differences. You
Right.
know, Tolkien, he wrote about uh, his books. He based that on the British Isles and the people living there. I'm pretty sure if he was living in this day and age, he might include different races and different people. But his main thing for writing was because the British don't have any lore other
Mhm.
than King Arthur.
Right.
I mean, look at Star Wars. Star Wars is King Arthur in reverse, pretty much.
It's an
So,
interesting point.
like I
Yeah.
said,
I did like that Battlestar Galactica series, but I never watched the original much, man. I was
I can
quite
understand
young.
because it's Disco 78, and I'm not much of a disco fan, and it can be cheesy, but
Mhm.
I mean, even Star Wars New Hope, you can get some of that same cheesiness. But
True.
like I said, it's some movies stretch the time barrier, like Charlton Heston's Moses.
Mhm.
Good movie, shouldn't have been touched. But then you have Christian Bale's version, which isn't that bad.
Yeah, I like.
But
Yeah,
there's some movies you do not want to see remade.
I
And
agree.
like I said, there's plenty of roles out there for everybody. Uh, if there's a sign, if these businesses, AT&T, Disney, NBC, all these companies want to make something new. Include everybody. Make something new.
I
It's
wish, man. I
that
really do.
I seen a comic book where they have the new one where uh
Oh,
Batman
there's another character since you were talking about old shows. What about Dookie Howser? You know, he's
Doogie
a
love Doogie
Mhm.
Howser.
That was a fun show, and
Yep.
so
I mean,
they're
I
going to
got a little
disrespect him in that
I I
Disney
I
Plus
got a
series.
little
I'm sure of
upset
it.
with the Hobbit series
Hmm.
because I seen the inclusionist of some of the people like in Rivendell or not Rivendell, Dale, the city of Dale.
Hmm.
You know, in Token's world, what we know of the world of that, there's only 25%. The other 75% we don't know.
Hmm.
Token didn't fill that gaps in there. I would have loved them to fill in the gaps instead of going in there and changing characters. I don't have a problem if they wanted to make black elves. I don't have a problem if they want to make Chinese dwarves.
Hmm.
Make it new. You don't have to rewrite. And I think that's the difference with people today. A lot of people don't want to see a rewrite. The
Hmm.
Luke thing, Luke is one of 7 characters Disney's destroyed of the original trilogy.
What are the other
Legend,
ones you felt
Wedge
that were
Antilles
killed?
gets put in a turret in a Falcon. You mean to tell me in the whole galaxy, the second one of the best fighter pilots can't get an X-wing or a Y-wing? There's one.
Hmm.
Let's see. There's Lando. Lando gets destroyed. I love Billy D. Williams. He will always be my Lando. That is Mr. Colt 45. He's a ladies' man. He played that exactly what George wanted. He wanted a
Hmm.
ladies' man. My
Right.
Lando does not screw robots. I'm sorry, that's not my Lando. Chewie, Chewie gets ignored when Leia walks right past him when Han dies.
Hmm. That's a
After
good point.
Leia, the most person touched to Han Solo is Chewie. So
Hmm.
there's another one that gets ruined.
Hmm.
Let's see. Lando. There's Han, Wedge, Luke. You know, it's like I said, for an OT trilogy person, and I love the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
OT, this crushes me. I can't give them Obi-Wan. I just can't. If I see, I know Crit's going to say it again. If I see Obi-Wan leave Tatooine, it destroys the ending of Revenge of the Sith when uh, Yoda gives his orders to Bail Organa and to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's specific orders is to stay there, guard Luke Skywalker until he's age, and to bring him to Yoda. That's his orders. Bail is to just keep Leia safe. Remember, we don't see it, but it's implied. She's the backup. If something happens to Luke, she's the backing. That I can give an exception if somebody is there to take Obi-Wan's place. So who's the person that's going to take Obi-Wan's place to watch Luke? There's only one person. It's Ahsoka. But I don't think you can bring Ahsoka to Obi-Wan because he's not only cutting himself from the Force, he's cutting himself off from the Force because he's trying to protect Luke. He can't give away Luke. Luke is the ace card. So, oh my God, I don't want to see that. When Obi-Wan gets trained by Tuskens. No more Tusken dance. Justice for Jawas. Why can't Jawas get any respect? I'm sorry, I don't mean to rant, but I've seen so many IPs get destroyed, and I will tell people, corporations don't backtrack. But one corporation did in 1985 when Coke tried to switch the Coke formula and force this on us. We said no. And for 3 months, people who love Coke went and drank Pepsi, went and drank RC. We didn't touch a Coke product. It sat there and rotted on the shelf. 3 months later, they gave us back the classic Coke. So yes, if people say we're not going to buy this, we're going to step away, corporations will. You can make a corporation bend, but if everybody's going to go with this new line after hearing we're getting the best Star Wars and then for a whole year and finding out we're not, and the new battle cry is, well, we're going to ignore everything, even if it leads to the sequel trilogy. If I'm on the Titanic, I'm not going to say I'm having a great time all the way up until I hit the iceberg. I'm sorry. If it's leading there, why do you want to even be on this ship? And that's how I feel about Star Wars.
Oh my gosh. I swear, Salon.
And I thought I was bad. That makes all my justice for Star Trek 4. That makes all my justice for Star Trek 4 justified right there.
The Star Trek 4 is a very good film. You're talking about 5.
I will tell you, the original Star Trek movie is the one I hate the most. I can watch any of the original ones with
I can still watch that one. I understand how it's slow for a lot of people, but I don't mind it.
But
those shots of the Enterprise are beautiful, though.
I just want to say this because my time's limited.
Yeah, sure.
This is not the first time we've seen change or things being corrected. You guys probably know I love Star Blazers. That was changed before it even got here into the States. They did not want to have the connection between the ship being called the Yamato, because that was a Japanese World War II battleship. And there were still a lot of World War II veterans. There were still, it was too close. So they did change that for the States, and they called it the Argo. So yes, there are changes. Sometimes you have to do that. Certain countries, certain races and stuff, they have their own thing. And I understand we want to bring people together, but our differences are our differences. And that too should be, shine just as much as the other one they're trying to do. Deep down, I understand what they're trying to do. Disney and all these companies want everybody to be together, all for it. is it a real world? No, it's almost impossible.
Mhm.
But recognizing our differences is just as important as knowing that we all belong together. It's a two-way street. The only way I can compare it's like a salad. You got to have lettuce, you got to have tomato, salad dressing. Boom, you got a salad. But each item in the salad is its own unique thing.
Right. I agree.
You know, like I
Absolutely.
said, for me, when I see watch the Fall of the City, that didn't just hit me because of race swap. I'm not saying the actors who played them didn't do a good job. I'm saying somebody else who's not really connected to it sees that and says, "Oh, well, I guess the Trojans were black. They
Mhm.
weren't." Or
Right.
Achilles is black.
Right.
No, like I said, there is a hero, and you can go to places in Egypt and Ethiopia. They still have monuments to the black warrior. He was half Trojan, half black,
Mhm.
that went there to fight at Troy and died. He was a he was a he was a big time fighter. Let's just put it that way. And the series didn't even include him.
Well, that's disrespectful for sure.
It's like I said,
Mhm.
and it's almost the same with what they did in Star Wars with Luke. We can't have this guy. We gotta make him weak to make our Disney characters look good. Boba Fett had to suffer because Din Djarin had to look good. Frankly, I don't see why Din Djarin, except for the last part, really we could have done without Din Djarin coming there, except for the ending when Boba Fett needed people to help. Other than that, what does Gogru has to do with Boba Fett?
Mhm.
You see what
Nothing.
I'm saying?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. It's ridiculous. It's like you get some quality Mando episodes, but what does that have to do with this show? And why is Boba Fett always taking off his helmet? Why is he talking so much? Why did he even apologize in this show? It's ridiculous.
The thing is, Disney screwed up the day one when they bought it, and they axed the EU. And the only reason they axed the EU is because they didn't want to pay them authors if they happened to use them. What
Mhm.
they had in there, I would have loved to seen Heir to the Empire series been a trilogy. I would have loved to have seen Darth Raven been a movie. I rather them started out with Darth Raven than starting with the sequel trilogy.
Is it
If
Raven
that
or
makes
Revan?
sense. Get their feet wet, learn
Is
what the process is,
Mhm.
and I would have hand George Lucas and say, "Look, we own it, but here you finish off your story, and then give 3 movies to these other people, these new characters, and they can make the step from there, making new characters."
Yep. This is
But
a good point. Yep.
if you notice, as soon as Star Wars and Disney noticed they screwed up, they went and got Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn saved Star Wars, not John Favreau and not Dave Filoni. And let's get this straight right now. John Favreau came there because the CEO of Disney sent him there to get that place in order,
Mhm.
not because Dave Filoni asked for him. He didn't. That was purely the CEO, not Iger, but the new one that did that.
JPEG.
Yep,
Mhm.
he's the one. And again, I don't know people's contracts. I don't know what they can and cannot do, but I can tell you this: the board of directors is what runs the show. The CEO has to say, but if that board of directors start saying, "You know what? We don't want this,"
Yeah.
things will get changed. You can't ask for shareholders to do it because they're not going to ask shareholders. And as much a stock as George Lucas got in Disney, he's not on the board of directors. He's not.
Mhm. Right.
So, yeah, we want change. The way you do change, take it from the past. Do what the people did, and they said when they try to force new Coke on people, they said no.
Right.
You might have to be entertained in some other form and fashion. Myself, the best Star Wars I've seen in 10 years is on YouTube, made by people that don't even get paid for their material.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever seen the one. It's called Mission. It's about Darth Raven. It's only like 25 minutes. That is better than anything Disney ever put out.
Interesting. I'll
When
have
I
to
saw
watch
that,
it.
I was speechless. I think our choices in shows and TVs is either you have two options of buying old material and keeping it,
Mm-hmm.
and looking at independent. Because look at WB, owned by AT&T. All their shows are crap. I'm sorry. All their DC stuff is crap. They don't care. They still are producing it. They don't care how much money they're losing. It's at the point now they're still losing money,
Right.
and AT&T is trying to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Disney can't buy it, but if they buy Warner Brothers, that pushes them too close to being a monopoly. So I don't know who's going to buy that, but hopefully someone gets a hold of that and changes it.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, it kind of hurts me. I know if you hear it in my voice, sometimes some of the stuff they're doing makes me want to cry. And I'm a grown 50-year-old man. So, and I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm rambling.
No,
I'm just
not at all, man.
I'm trying to give you
it's frustrating.
an older person's view on things. When
Mhm.
I see someone taking something like the Iliad, the Odyssey, the Aeneid, and
Mhm.
you're changing it up,
Right.
then it's no longer the Iliad, the Odyssey, or the Aeneid.
Mhm.
You know, and I know a lot of people might want to push like that, like mythical. I don't want to ruin somebody from India's myths. I don't want to ruin anybody from South America's myths.
Mhm.
But I also don't want my myths messed with. I want it respected and treated fairly. I never want to see a European white actor play Shaka Zulu. I'm sorry, it does not belong to it. It's to
Me either.
That's
I don't want to
no
see
no.
that either.
I mean,
No.
there has to be lines drawn, and we're in
Yes.
an age where lines are being erased.
Mhm.
You know, I live in a state called Delaware, and I can point out a lot of things to you guys. I'll say it. We had a former Raven cheerleader been convicted of molesting a 15-year-old boy.
Jeez,
She
man.
is now out of jail, and she's now on the board of directors for John Hopkins for children. Now, if that was a man, he would not be anywhere near even on a board to raise money.
Mhm.
Yet here's a woman that's been convicted of child molestation, and she's on the board of directors for their charity funds.
Yep. And Phil McCracken just got the channel taken down. No, I'm kidding, dude.
I'm sorry. I speak my heart. I don't hate anybody.
Right.
And that person I just talked about, I believe in second chances, but there's some things you don't put the lion in with the lamb. You see what I'm saying? And that goes for our shows, that goes for our TV, this goes for people's history. You know, I want everybody to learn other people's history, respect it. There's nothing wrong if you would say Cash Money would come to me and says, you know what? I don't like Scandinavian history. I don't want to hear nothing about no Vikings or anything.
That's actually some of my heritage, but sure.
I understand. Just an example. But I'm just saying, if that was the case, it's okay not to like something. The difference is where you say, well, I don't like it. No offense to you, but it's not my thing. I can respect you. But when you attack it and say, I never want to see a Viking show, I never want to see about Scandinavian history, that's a different thing.
Right.
It's okay. I use the ice cream analogy. If you don't like chocolate, that's fine. You can like vanilla. You don't have to like everything. We're at a place, if you say that,
I know.
You know, and I think
you're villainized.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that way. I mean, people like music. Music, you know, everybody has a different thing for music. As you get older, I guarantee your music taste will change. What you say when you were younger, well, this sucks. You go back when you're older and you're like, man, that was awesome. What was I thinking? If you don't have people pushing you, your opinions can change. You could
True.
actually like Scandinavians and Vikings,
Mhm.
but pushing it on people. And don't forget, Cash Money, I come up from the age where we had Archie Bunker. You can't have Archie Bunker on TV today.
No, I know, and you
Mhm,
can't
not at all.
have
And,
can't-
and
comedy as well. Is just it's dead. It's so many
it was
people are
on
worried
there,
about being
so
offended.
it was
Yeah.
breaking things down
Yes.
in a comedic way,
Yes.
and it really didn't insult anybody,
No.
you know. But
No.
if you were to put that out today, oh God, they would. God knows what they would do. So, like I said, it for me, I see a lot of change, and it's good. But I don't like the race swapping. I don't like the character changes. Like I said, new
Yeah, because
Battlestar.
it won't. It's not the other way. Yeah, I
No.
mean, do we want a Black Panther? No. Do we want a White Panther? No. It's just do we want another character where they're white and we need to erase this character because it's white? Do we want all these male characters now sitting there and apologizing? No, we don't want any of
You
that.
don't have to tear down a sex or a
Exactly.
race or
Mhm.
ethnicity to build up people. That's where all these corporations are not realizing it. I can like Black History Month, but I don't need you to push it down my throat and make it no choice where if I happen not to like it, I should be allowed not to like it.
Yeah.
And for
Well,
me,
the problem
sorry.
is, man, is a lot of this stuff becomes a political agenda, and when that happens, then everything goes to hell every
Yeah.
time. That's where it's like you draw the line. Then you got all these people who feel that these characters need to be changed, and as an example, but they don't want to create their own things. They want to ruin other stuff or change this, and it has to be changed. So
They
yes.
think if they tear down, they're building something else up. And I'm
Right.
saying you don't have to tear down. You can build up what you want to build and
Yeah.
still build up what's already been established.
Yep.
Like I said, original Battlestar Galactica, I love Boomer. Boomer was great.
Mm-hmm.
And then for them to not only change the race of Boomer in the remake, but also the sex,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, I don't see the purpose in that.
No, I don't.
It to me,
Just
it's-
like the whole thing, if a female like Xena, we don't need a male version of her.
no,
The female
no.
is fine. Same with Lara Croft, and we already have a male version of Indiana Jones, so the female version is Lara Croft.
No.
Pretty
I
much.
think when you get something like Rey in the sequel trilogy, if they could have done something like a small series, maybe 2 seasons of her realizing she's a Jedi, getting trained by Luke,
Mhm.
and then doing everything live in the 3 movies, I probably would have been more acceptable in that. Except how they did Luke at the end.
Right.
No, Luke, I'm sorry. There's certain characteristics of people
Mhm.
that don't change. Luke is one of them people I don't think would change. There is, we can go in reality, real life.
Right.
Sometimes some things happen to people, and that does happen. But we're not there in the movie theater to see someone get destroyed or a hero destroyed. We're there to see our hero succeed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yesterday, I think Mike there was on the show with Master Paul, and they were talking about wrestlers.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
was an
we're-
old-time Ric Flair fan. I love Ric Flair, love the Four Horsemen. Somebody here can say, I think Hulk Hogan was the best. I'm not going to argue with them. They're 2 separate people, both good. And you can probably even throw in a Bret Hart. But I'm just saying, using that as an example. They create a character. We know that. They create their characters. And the best ones, they succeed for a long period of time.
Mhm.
sometimes some of them writers there would try to do something stupid and change the character a little bit. Hogan managed to go with Hollywood, which was okay, but a Bret Hart can't do a change like that. A Ric Flair couldn't do a change like that.
Hmm.
There's see if the story's good enough, like the Hulk Hogan story, you can get away with a change. But then there's some characters, like you see with Ric Flair and Bret Hart, you can't write them different than what they are. You know, and that goes for your TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know what happened. It's like somebody got a hold of all the writers, and we're going to hammer this into everybody, and we don't care if our shows hemorrhage money. We're going to push this in,
Yes.
you know, and it's sad. It's
Well, you know, the Batman animated series is coming back, and even though Bruce Timm is going to be working on it, I'm still a bit worried for it. What are they going to change? But maybe it'll be okay. So
there's one of Batman. I watched a couple. The new movies, anime or cartoon or whatever you want to list them.
right.
The one where they have my issue is when they come out with Batwoman
Mm-hmm.
and she's a lesbian. I have no problems with lesbians or whatever you want to be. But she wasn't written by the creator that created Batwoman to be that way.
Right.
Yep.
That's where I have my issues too, man.
I love that they did insert Fox's son as what they call him. He's not Nightwing, but they call him something. He gets a suit.
Yeah, he does in Batwoman.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah,
and I like his character.
Yeah, his character was in the first season, especially. It was he was interesting, and so was Kane's father. Yeah. They were more interesting because I watched the first season of Batwoman with my brother, and those were the best parts of the show. Everything else is just either mediocre or just ridiculous.
I don't know what Warner Brothers and AT&T are thinking, and not realizing the ratings and the money they're losing. Yet they can cancel shows like Mike and Molly after 4 seasons. Yet Batwoman doesn't have nowhere near a third of the ratings of Mike and Molly. Yet they're still on the air.
Have you watched Mike and Molly? I've watched it live, man. I thought the supporting cast was better than the actual show. I could never get into that show, man. Mike and Molly.
I did, and the only reason I did was because there was nothing else out there.
Yeah.
It won by default for me.
1956. Wow. I'm gonna have to go look into that.
You know, I mean, I'm concerned with Disney because now they own MGM.
I know these monopolies are not good, man.
No, it's not. And now they're talking about a Firefly TV show coming back. I'm scared that Stargate SG-1 will be coming back, and I don't want them to look. Stargate SG-1 on TV had the highest ratings of any show.
All right.
It pushed.
See you, Solani. Thanks for stopping by, man.
And they pushed Battlestar Galactica, the remake. That was the best night of Friday nights for about 3 or 4 years. Had the highest ratings on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Sci-Fi was thinking when they canceled all these shows. I think they saw more money in reruns than making new shows.
Mm-hmm.
But now you give somebody like Disney these properties, and I said this, you heard me say this, Kat.
Mm-hmm.
Disney does not know how to do live action, and they do not know how to do sci-fi.
But they don't want to, man. Look at what they've done with Lady and the Tramp. Look at all. They don't have to do live action of their animated shows, but they just do it, and they probably figure it's going to be money or bring in some new generation.
That's the thing. They converted a lot of the movies, let's call them anime or CGI, whatever you want to call it. They converted them to live action. They dropped dead. I'm sorry. The movies didn't make it. But they tried sci-fi. Black Hole. Sorry, flopped. Tron flopped.
Yeah, but that's too bad because, you know, Tron could have still potential, but they also killed it too when they got rid of the Uprising series and they moved it around on Disney.
I agree. HD. Like I said, you might see I think if you go look on the internet, it cost 15 million. They made 50 million. It made a profit, but it wasn't a hit. And then you look further when they did try to go back into sci-fi with John Carter. I actually liked the movie John Carter, but that is Disney's biggest flop.
Yeah, that flopped bad.
And after that flopped, and it cost them huge amount of money because they had to buy the rights to the characters and then make the movie. That's what caused them to go looking to buy Star Wars. So, and like I said, I mean, Disney, maybe in the 50s when they had TV shows, live TV shows, Daniel Boone or whatever, a couple of them shows.
Yeah, the problem is they changed this stuff, man. If they didn't change this stuff with the live action, it probably wouldn't be a problem. They could do all the Book of Boba, they can do all this stuff and make it action packed, but they have to change it. Sensibility nonsense, whatever it is. It's stupid. And if they just stop doing this, Disney could do live action, though. I can't. It's probably been a long time since I've wanted to actually see a live action Disney movie.
I missed it. And I tell you, one I did like, and I'm probably one of the last people to see it live in a movie theater, Song of the South.
Yeah.
I understood it. You had to understand the context of it. It was post-Civil War. So, yeah, you're going to have them images because there's no other images. But the theme of the thing was Uncle Remus, and even though his life wasn't the greatest, he was farmhand, picking food and crops. He was still a happy man. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. Overcoming what your surroundings is. So I took that as an uplifting event, But I seen where these shows are doing, and corporations, like I told you, Johnny Depp gets fired.
I know.
He ain't even proven that he did what they accused him of.
I know.
Ezra Miller, there's video of him doing it, and yet he's still working for Warner Brothers.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, you get Gina Carano fired. Yeah, Pablo Hidalgo and Pedro, the guy plays Mando, say what they say, and they get to keep their job.
Yeah, it's a mess, man.
I'm not trying to degrade the people from Chile, but if you really want to talk about winners and losers, like they did and post up on the YouTube, Prussian Glory of Chile, where the Chilean army, even today, goose steps like the SS from World War II. Who are these people to come and say, this is a racist? This is what you're saying is racist. Yet your whole culture, your military goose steps. You have to question where these people are saying, and I'm not trying to hurt no one from Chile's feelings or anything. If they want to goose step away. Yeah. But I'm just saying, how can you contradict Gina Carano, a Johnny Depp, and yet you have people that are working for these same companies do worse, and yet there's nothing, not a damn thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just the same like this conversation we were talking about with these iconic characters. You don't have to do this stuff. These characters are not just one-dimensional, and we have to keep putting up with this stuff.
But look at what these corporations are going.
Yeah.
They can't, even TV shows, they can't create anything. They can't create anything. If it wasn't for the Marvel Universe and everybody buying Marvel, where would these film studios be?
Yeah, and they can take these film studios to a whole new level, but they won't. And so every live action, if they did the animated movie, for example, we'll say like Lady and the Tramp, and they did live action, they did it like the anime one, it probably people would be like, well, it's the same, but they could just change things that wouldn't matter. Like they didn't have to change the whole thing with the Siamese cats. I remember reading about that. It was ridiculous.
I didn't see any problem with the Siamese cats.
No, I didn't either. No.
I mean, I'm Italian. I didn't see any insult of Lady and the Tramp eating spaghetti and the meatballs. You don't
No.
see me complaining about the mutant turtles. Why do they have to be named after Italian people? You didn't see me complain about episode 1 about Walto kind of sounding like an Italian degrading. I didn't take it that way. Some people
No.
did. But what I'm
Sure they
trying to
did.
say
Yeah.
is some
Yep.
people need to grow thick skin.
They do.
Let it bounce. You know?
They do. But yeah, like Arcane is definitely something on Netflix that is worth watching.
There's some out there, but like I said, I use
'Cause the
YouTube and
characters are interesting, and it's definitely
there's a lot of
good
independent
stuff.
there's a lot of independent creators of shows and movies on YouTube and on the internet. I think like I said, if you want something new without all this politics, that's where you might have to go,
Hmm.
or just go back, look at TV shows from your past. Maybe something I never liked MASH growing up. It wasn't until mid '90s that I
Mhm.
actually start watching MASH and like MASH. When it
Nice.
was
Yeah.
out, I did not like it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, like like I said, I don't want to say I come from a different time. I do, but I'm here in 2022, and change is good. Everything needs change, but destroying characters, rewriting characters, no,
Yes.
no.
No, it's terrible.
I mean, I don't like what people did with what was it? Gone with the Wind. Okay.
Hmm.
If you're that sensitive and
Right.
you know what that topic is, Civil War,
Yep.
and there's never been a good Civil War, there's never been any good war, period. But
Right.
you want to go into that, and if you're that sensitive, best not watch it.
Hmm. I
You
agree.
can find something else to watch.
Yep.
I don't want to shut down WB if that's what they want to
No,
do now, but I doesn't mean I have to watch it. I find
exactly.
something else.
Exactly. man.
So like I said, the Boba Fett. I don't know if you heard. I burned all my stuff. I'm done. I washed my hands. And yeah, it costs a lot of money burning that stuff down. Trust me, people will say, "Why did you?" I'm like this. I'm
Yeah.
a clean break. My heart's not attached to it no more. You know, and I feel good about it. Now, do I recommend everybody go do the same? No. But for me, that's how I felt.
Yep.
And afterwards, I was, dumb. I will always love Star Wars, and nothing will change that. But I don't have to like what they're doing today.
No, you don't.
So I'm sorry if I sound a little emotional and I talked a lot, but this really hits home. It really hits home. Like I said, it's coming to a point you cannot watch actual television. Like I
Mhm.
said, I have to revert to YouTube. I
Mhm.
watch some things on HBO Max and Disney Plus. After the Book of Boba Fett, I just said I'm done.
Yeah.
So
Can't blame you, man.
I don't blame you at all, Phil.
yeah, and like I said, the thing is, it's not just somebody my age. I'm 50, by the way.
Mhm.
I know people in their 20s and in their teens. They feel the exact same way. So it isn't just like an older person, younger person's thing. I see more. It's people who are really tied to Star Wars and have a real deep
Right.
attachment to people that are the casual fans. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
For casual fans, they probably don't really care.
Right.
But for somebody that's deeply attached, do care.
Yeah.
So if I can give anybody a voice of confidence or something, and save us from this, the way that I could say is look at the independent. You might not get people to boycott Disney, but even if you make a stand, somebody else makes a stand. I'm not going back to Disney until they change.
Mhm.
It was done. If they can back in 1985 not touch Coke for 3 months and cause the company to say bring it back, and they did, if people can do that for 3 months, do the same thing to Disney and Disney Star Wars, trust me, you'll see a change so quick your head would spin.
I agree.
So
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
But I will tell you this: in Japan, this is not allowed. This is not allowed. They do not want this over there, and they actually don't let some shows, or they edit it out. And I can understand it. Japan's culture is in a lot of their shows, and if it's going against their culture, they don't want it, and they should be allowed to be that way.
Yep.
You know, like I said, everybody has a right to like something and not like something, regardless
Yes.
if it's people
That's right.
or shows or food. You can dislike something and not be considered a hater.
Yep.
It's a natural human thing. If we all like something, we are robots. So.
Yep. Right. That's a good point, man.
Yeah. And as far as like you guys were talking about Doctor Who, I watched Doctor Who here and there, but yeah, I wasn't much a fan of it, but I sympathize with the fans of Doctor Who and what they're going through. Star Trek, I go as far as did not like the Next Generation, but I did love Voyager, like Deep Space Nine. But after Deep Space Nine, that was it for me. I checked out.
Right.
So, and I'm like I said, I have no problem with someone telling me they don't like Captain Kirk. They think Kirk sucks. That's fine. You're entitled to it. Me, I cannot stand Picard. And here's the thing: the actor Patrick Stewart is a boxer. But yet, in that TV show, his character, Jean-Luc Picard, cannot throw a punch. Watch any of it, including even the movies. He cannot throw a punch. Yet, Captain Kirk can throw a punch and knock you out, no problem. So, yeah. And I didn't like what J.J. Abrams did with the time warp back, with his remakes. There were good movies, don't get me wrong. But Star Wars cannot do that. And I hear about this, people saying, well, we're going to get this strong Endgame type. No, please, no. If I want to see Endgame, I go see the movie Endgame. I don't want to see Star Wars version of Endgame. I want to see Star Wars version of Thrawn and the Empire Reborn versus the New Republic.
Yep.
Make it good. Make it original. Don't have to be Endgame Part 2. So, sorry.
No, nothing.
It's like even Francis Ford Coppola, it says every movie now is like a comic book movie. There's nothing original coming out.
Remake, rehashed, rewritten. And that's going for your TVs and your movies. And I would say that for the last, since about 1997, 98, you start seeing that. So, I mean, think about it. We had the Brady Bunch movies remade. We had Dukes of Hazzard remade.
We
I
had
don't think they would allow that today, but it was remade. I liked the movie. It wasn't good as the TV show, but I liked the movie.
Okay.
You know, as far as Disney, the only thing they really managed to create, and they weren't intending it to be a hit, was Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
That's Pirates the only live action that they really succeeded.
Except for the fourth movie, the standalone.
I understand they started getting a little bit watered down.
Ridiculous,
but they can't put another Pirate of the Caribbean movie without Johnny Depp. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, that character he created is up there with Darth Vader. It's iconic.
It's a great character, yeah.
But that was the I like to say Disney fluked with the Pirates of the Caribbean. But other than that, I wouldn't watch a live action show from Disney, movie wise. Yeah. They're just no.
Definitely.
And I'll just say now, it was a big time Batman character. I love the Batman character back when I was a kid. And I wasn't a fan of Michael Keaton's and Val Kilmer and the other guy. It made it kind of like the TV show, a little bit cheesy with the original Adam West one. I like more the three newer ones by Christian Bale.
Yes,
That's my thing of Batman. You know,
I like those movies a lot, and I understand that people like making fun of his voice, and I get that, but I just pop culture said George Clooney.
George Clooney. Yeah.
He was all right as Bruce Wayne. It's just I don't know, bat nips and stuff. Ugh, horror. Yeah, I love those movies. That's when I felt DC was just like rocking with those films, and then after that, I wasn't too. I don't think Michael Keaton was a bad Batman or a bad Bruce Wayne. I still think those movies on their own are still very good, and I'd recommend them to people who like comic book films.
I watched all. I don't know. I forget the director who directed them all even the George Clooney movies. But like I said, it had that Adam West, cheesiness added in there. Some of the cheesiness they could have done without. So
Yeah,
I mean, they
that's
had some
much.
famous actors in them movies,
Oh, yes.
and they were decent, but they couldn't touch the three newer ones that Christian Bale did. They can't touch it.
Yes.
And the X-wing sucks.
No, X-Wing does not suck.
Yes.
Roasted.
Oh man.
I don't normally like getting on to panels, and the
Yeah.
reason being is I had cancer in my mouth, and I have a hole and I have a piece. And I don't know if you guys
man,
can
dude.
tell, but some of the words and sentences I kind of slur. Yeah.
You're
So
fine, man. Don't
I'm
worry
saying
about
that beforehand because I'm waiting for X-Wing to pick on me because of my slurring and my inability to say certain words. So I'm beating him to the punch.
it. Welcome, X-Wing. Well, awesome. Well, we've gone over 2 hours now, which is great. And is there anything you would like to add, Whoopa? I know Phil said a lot, which I'm glad.
I'm sorry if I took over your show.
No, not at all, man. It's
Better
fine.
me than X-Wing.
I like talking X-Wing though. Yeah. You still there, Whoopa?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
All
me?
right, cool. Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Do you feel? I want to ask you. You being a massive Pokemon fan, do you feel that at some point these studios are going to do something to these characters? Or there's not that much, I guess, with the trainers, but
I don't think they're gonna do anything.
oh my gosh, X-Wing.
I don't think they're gonna do anything just because they're very careful with the rights. It's still sort of owned by Nintendo.
Yeah.
But like the whole Pokemon company is weird.
Mhm.
There's like, what does Game Freak own? Was Nintendo owned? I don't know, but it's very protected. So I don't think they're gonna do anything like crazy. They have a Netflix series that I'm not a big fan of.
Mhm.
Just because, but it's not like it's super woke or anything. It just has some weird stuff. The art style, not a big fan.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
And they
I'm not always
don't
like
have
that too. Yeah.
they don't have the same voice actors for Jesse and James, which like it's been 25 years, so it makes sense. But it's also like, hey, what the heck? This isn't right. But I think it'll be fine. I mean, I love Detective Pikachu. That movie was amazing.
You did.
So
Okay.
I'm hoping stuff sticks like that. Everything keeps going, and hopefully the games don't get me. There's one weird thing in the game, but
Mhm.
other than that, it's fine. It's a very good game. I like it. So I have hope that they're not going to mess that up at least.
Yeah. That's good, man. Cool. Well, you guys want to add anything else, or you want to call it here?
I do hope that Disney, after this Book of Boba Fett mishap, goes back and starts really researching and reviewing what they did, an episode having a Wookiee get shot 50 times, he doesn't have armor, he gets shot 50 times and doesn't die. I'm sorry. Not Star Wars for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, Wookiees are powerful and everything, but I don't think Chewie could have took 50 shots. No way.
No, I don't think so. I agree.
So and the sad thing is you have John and Dave, they're supposed to be in control. I don't think we can say they have that much control we thought they had, because I'm not a Star Wars writer, yet I know the lore and stuff that can say there isn't a person or a humanoid or an animal that can take 50 shots from blasters, yet, the Pikes get shot one time, they're dead.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Disney can always do better, and they've done better in the past. The question is, will they? They've even attacked Pixar. I mean, it's just we'll see if they can do better. If people like Kenobi and other stuff moving forward, great. But going back and just changing things and rebooting stuff and then changing them for sensibilities and my feelings and stuff is just not the best kind of entertainment. It never has been. So we'll see what Disney does and Warner Brothers, and we'll see if Batman actually feels a lot like Batman, or is there some other nonsense going on. The trailer looked good, so I'm going to give the movie a chance. Yeah.
I'm still iffy on it, but I might look at it just for sake to say I can see it.
Right.
I actually like Patterson's work in Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the Twilight series. No.
No,
My name is
don't.
not X-Wing, and I don't watch them shows. But I did like Harry Potter, and that's another series. People, the writer written certain things like, what was the head guy from Harry Potter? The old man, he died, and then someone replaced him.
Richard Harris.
Yeah, but the character, she written him as gay, which is fine,
right?
but she did not imply it during the movie, which was beautiful, because you don't have to, hey, he's gay in the book. She didn't have to imply it. Kids, I'm against this. I don't think any child under the age of 12 should be forced to identify or have the substance of sexual themes, even in any way. So that way, when they hit 12 and 13, if they feel that way, great. I don't want a TV show. I don't want somebody else to, how can I say, not make the choice that they can make the choice for themselves. And if they are, God bless them. I'm not against it. But I did like how they worked it, that, you never got the implication that he was gay in the movies.
Right.
But in the books he is. And they didn't have to enforce it.
No.
And frankly, do we care if he was gay or not?
No.
So, but I think, like I said, having a 10-year-old and bringing sexual things and putting that into like a kid's show, 8-10's too young. They want to do it for a 12, 14-year-old. They're a little wiser and more mature. Not much, but a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But 10 and 8-year-olds shouldn't. I like to say their mind should be pure, where they shouldn't even be thinking of anything sexual. They should be thinking about playing with toys, hanging with their friends, playing video games.
Yep, I agree, man.
Yep.
Definitely. Yep. Awesome. Well, then, you guys have anything else to add after that, or I think we
Is it okay if I plug?
Yeah, dude. Of course. Go for it.
All right. Well, tomorrow at 8:00 Eastern, I will be doing my review of the season finale of Peacemaker with the Padawannabe.
Nice.
So we'll be doing that live, and honestly, I've watched the episode and I really enjoyed it.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. What about you, Whoopa?
Nothing much really. I'm just doing my Woofa Wednesday streams.
Okay.
Streaming Pokemon Generation 1 on the channel. So
Cool.
I do that every Wednesday at 7 and 7 Central. And I'm trying to make more videos, but it's tough. I don't.
It can be, yeah. The grind never ends, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, so it's always like you hear news, you're like, oh, I'm gonna make a video on this, and then 3 days go later, and then you still have like half a script. It's like, oh well.
Yep, awesome. I
I'm
will
not
be.
a content creator, but I would tell people watch all your content creators, even if you don't agree with everything they say. Watch it, learn, get opinions, and even watch X-Wing. But just know if I'm in the chat, I'm going to put in there X-Wing sucks. But other than that, watch your content creators because they are now what gives you the idea of what to watch, what to skip, maybe lead you to a direction to something better than what we're getting in Star Wars. So
Yep, maybe
watch
so.
your content, listen to them, and maybe you'll find something new.
Definitely. I will be doing a Plague Tale Innocent tomorrow, continuing that. Innocence, and that will be probably at night. I haven't decided what time I'm going to do it, but I'm going to schedule that. And I want to hopefully finish that game off, finish it up. So that should be a lot of fun. That game can be pretty intense. Thanks, Pop Culture. I appreciate it. But until next time, I'm Cash Money. This is Mike, or AKA Pacific 414. Thank you, Phil McCracken and Whoopa Troopa, for joining the discussion.
Love you all. Thank you. Good night.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me on, Cash. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for letting me hop in here.
Happy to do it, guys. And we will have more shenanigans on this channel again very soon. Bye for now.